Mike is hot.
Hey, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show right here on the Lonestar Sports Network. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, Lady Life, full crew, the Prince, uneven money at the controls, making it do what it does when it's supposed to do it. Here we are on Tuesday right here in springtime. Everything is kicking and rolling. Lots going on. We want to send a great shout out to Fast Small Sports, who's getting really, really busy right now with Fast Recruit. Continue relationship that we have with the Lone Star Sports Network and Fast Small Sports, and we'll continue to talk about our other people too, but Fast Small Sports are the people that put us on. And when we first got going in this whole process, we sent a congratulations out to the Texas golfers at the Masters tournament. We did real good. I mean, Jordan Spieth, I know we hate to say almost, but the run he had was one of the most spectacular runs ever recorded at the Masters to bring himself all the way back into there where he shot 62, 63, one shot off the record of lowest score ever shot at the Masters, and came right back in. But congratulations to Patrick for winning the whole deal. He deserved it, and it was Houston versus Dallas. Coach.
Congratulations to who?
Patrick. Patrick won the whole
That's your
deal.
boy,
Yeah,
Patrick.
Line him up, man. He did a good job, man. I mean, he jumped out there.
Shout out to Patrick.
Shout out to him for winning the whole deal. But moving along, Coach.
Ain't one of your old golfing buddies.
No, I ain't never played quite at that level.
Okay.
I've probably been on some of the same golf courses back then. You hang out with Robert Hatter and play golf with Robert Hatter, you're going to be around some pros.
Y'all done been out there over there?
Oh, everywhere.
Out there
When they first started opening Redstone over there, and then we played Champions right there. That's the first place I ever met Tiger Woods and VJ Singh.
Okay.
And
no wonder you were talking about old VJ.
Yeah, VJ, VJ, good old dude, man. Old island guy.
VJ look like VJ look like
You
old.
can't speed him up, Coach.
Like old whiskey guy.
Yeah, he just old island guy, Coach.
Island guy?
Island guy. He tuck his shirt in because it's the rules.
Okay.
He had it his way. He wouldn't tuck his shirt in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of those kind of guys, but good people. See, good people. But yeah. So I mean, Augusta came out. Texas was finished strong right up in the middle of everything that was going on. It was very entertaining. Enjoyed my Sunday evening. Got plenty of basketball in this weekend. Uneven Money was down in Houston at the Defenders UA group down there, watching basketball. Snoop Johnson and I were here in out of Duncanville Field House, and had some guys out trying to get a lot of work done before the period went dead. I believe it is tomorrow night. I believe it may have gone. No, actually, it may have gone dead Sunday night at midnight. Yeah, when it comes back up again on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So a lot of hustle bustle right now. A lot of hustle bustle, but got the NFL draft coming to Arlington, Texas, right here in the DFW area. They start moving around. I think they had it in Chicago last year. Making it a little bit more of an entertaining deal. What are the Cowboys going to do with Dez Bryant? Do they bring him back, Coach? Do they clear the cap space? I mean, what's the value in it? They got the kid Kirk down at Texas A&M.
I like Christian Kirk for the Cowboys, but you know what? I like Christian Kirk with a Dez Bryant.
I mean, Christian Kirk has speed and ability to stretch the field.
He's a guy that you can do that you can do multiple things with. You can run him deep, but he has the ability with his strength. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that people don't talk about. The Cowboys, outside of Dez when he was a little younger, Cowboys really hadn't had that guy that could take underneath pass, and take a
yard after contact type guy.
Yeah, 4 or 5 yard pass and go the distance.
Go the distance, right?
Yeah, Christian Kirk is that type of guy.
Yeah, but I mean that's young and strong and speed, set a bunch of records. I mean, you also got to realize the guy's a big time punt returner, kick returner too.
I remember when he first came in A&M.
Yeah. So
when he first came in A&M, I mean A&M was looking to get that kid the ball all kind of ways. That kind of stuff tells you everything.
Playmaker, coach.
Playmaker, but I'm saying when you look at the attempts
to get the ball in his hand,
that's what tell you what kind of player he is when you see the attempts.
Yeah.
I like Christian Kirk.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big option for there, but I still feel like I can't remember because I was too young. As much as I idolized him and pattern, I played, playing a position. Joe Montana and Baker Mayfield.
What about him?
Comparisons in them, not great athletes.
Now
playmakers.
The person that I
undersized.
The person that I compare with
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, he has a lot more Brett Favre in him. The person that I compare with Joe Montana is the kid from UCLA, Josh Rosen. I think Josh Rosen has the ability. I don't
know if he's a playmaker.
I don't think physically. Well, Joe Montana wasn't a playmaker. He made plays with his arm. Joe Montana to make a.
But he was the kind of guy that did what Roger Staubach, to me, quarterback, Fran Tarkenton back in those days.
Well, those two guys way different. Roger Staubach, Fran Tarkenton, are two different guys than Joe Montana.
But what you can say about all three of them, when the game got on the line, they look for ways to win.
Right.
You say they're way different. Why do you say they're way different?
When the game was on the line, Joe didn't look to win with his feet.
Well, he looked about time with his feet to use his arm.
Yeah, move around a little bit.
Right. He was more just moving around a little bit.
Baker Mayfield gonna run the ball. He's gonna do what those other two guys you're talking about.
But what you see in this new generation of quarterback, they're combine guys that come in and they chart them and they do all these different things, and they throw in the pocket, which I think is a part of being successful.
I think the kid out of Louisville is gonna go higher than people think he is. I just listening to the story. He's real quiet. Didn't sign with an agent. Represents himself. Him and his mom, him and his mom now. Because when a kid go in there and do like that, and you're not the undisputed guy. You're not the undisputed guy. Somebody that made him a promise.
It could be a point too. Yep.
Somebody made him a promise, Coach. And I'm telling you, he might not be the biggest long-term guy, but out of all those guys on there, he's gonna make the first 2 or 3, 4 years. He's gonna have the biggest impact.
He's an impact type guy.
He's gonna make the biggest impact.
He's an impact type guy.
Maybe 3 or 4
speed and wiry strength that he
3 or 4 years ago, I might not take him, but now because of the way that the NFL offensive coordinators have adapted to the college game, does Nick Foles look like he looked for Philly if they don't go to the old kind of Chip Kelly system? Why doesn't more? I know this could probably be another show, but why doesn't more offensive coordinators?
Why don't more offensive coordinators move more toward what Chip Kelly and
go to that? Because
speeding the game.
What they talk about? No, not just speeding it up, but the read option. Because I heard him in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl week was saying that what the head coach did for Philly is he went back to some of the things that they did with Chip Kelly, and what it did was it took away the defense's being able to disguise because they have to read this. Now everything shows itself. So he had a clean look. He didn't have to worry about all these reads.
One thing I think that you and I both agree on, I know we agree on it because we've had conversations about it in the past, good offensive coordinators, good coaches take their personnel and put them in the best situation or play them to their strength.
Oh, that's definitely right.
You're going
anybody do anything other than that is a loser.
Yeah,
you're trying to beat yourself.
Well, they're hard headed. That's what I like to call them. Tell me what do you think about the prototype of a Josh Allen in Wyoming?
I like the upside of Josh Allen. I like the upside. He has the potential. I think he'll go before some of those other guys just because of what Carson Wentz did. It's a copycat league, and a lot of people are comparing his situation with with Carson Wentz. I mean, both of them. Even though he went to Wyoming, he didn't go to a 1AA. He went to Wyoming, but they still compare that situation as far as him not playing at a Power 5 type school in a competitive schedule. But they both big guys. They can move with big arms. He'll go way higher than that. 6 with the Jets. I know the Jets would love to have him there because you want a big, strong arm guy playing in those on that East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Playing on that East Coast. That's what's affecting. What's the name right now? Eli Manning.
Yeah. Did you see anything or know anything about the Marcus Davenport down at UTSA?
That's the big defensive end kid.
Yeah, I know position. Yeah. He's not a
former. I mean, the thing about it, that kid came in there, I think, as a wide receiver or something.
Really?
That's where the athleticism came.
Yeah, just trained.
He was a wide receiver / tight end type.
So he's an edge guy. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drop back. At the comeback. I mean,
put his hand in the dirt.
At the Senior Bowl, they showed him 3-4 guy. He can drop out and everything, athlete. But that goes back to when he was his wide receiver, tight end days.
Yeah. You know who was a lot like that? Jeffrey Fuller.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Fuller
in high school.
Well, high school and on into college and into the NFL.
No, Jeff played strong safety in the NFL.
Strong safety played some linebacker too.
Did he really?
Outside linebacker. He was an athlete.
Somebody Texas A&M.
Texas A&M and with the 49ers too.
He ain't played no linebacker with the 49ers.
Well, strong safety.
Come up in the pocket.
Back, right? Yeah, get up in there. But I mean, he was a big old physical.
Same responsibilities.
Got same dudes trying to block you, coach. A lot of times guys get caught up with labels, but it's, you one thing right here, different. A guy that go back to what you just said.
Yeah.
Offensive guys that you're trying to get the ball in their hand, or guys that you feel like can make plays. Guys that you move around on defense, or guys you think can stop plays.
I listened to the Cowboys defensive coordinator, and he said that was really the first time I really heard defensive coordinators talk about how they have to design more things to create one-on-one opportunities for these guys.
Yeah. No, you're trying to get them in position, coach. You know what they can do. You know what they have the strength to do. You know what they have the speed to do. You know what they have the feet to do. Hips, all these different things when you evaluating. And I mean, that's I started looking at a lot of players. When we come back in the next segment, we're gonna start talking about sleepers, and why are sleepers? We're not just talking about basketball sleepers. We're talking about football. We're just talking about sports in general. How guys get overlooked. Yeah. Why do guys get overlooked?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you another thing. I got another sleeper for you when we come back. Yeah, so we talking about sleepers.
Talking about sleepers, man. I mean, it's
just defining sleepers.
Right. Defining sleepers. Defining it, and why is it not so popular?
I'm gonna take you in a whole nother direction when we come back.
That's why we got you around here, man.
Like that, Prince.
Give us some direction.
Like that, Prince. You like that. I saw your head rocking. You like that.
Yeah.
Kurt, in the words of Kurt Cullen, you like that. You like that. That's right.
Here we are right here at the Lone Star Sports Show, the Lone Star Sports Network. Chilling and cooling.
Rubbing off on my roommate.
You trying to get him where he lies? Yeah, you had a good weekend with him.
Look at the shirt. Look at the shirt over there.
Oh, yeah.
Got it all. Got it
black. Hey, watch me go in
black
the closet down
there. Both of us got black and gray.
No. Yeah. Hey, with the Lone Star Sports Show right here on the Lone Star Sports Network. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, Lady Life, and the Prince, Honeymoon Money.
There you go.
Right there in the middle of it, at the controls.
He put some respect on your name right there. He said the Prince. He said the Prince. He said it was some conviction with the Prince. There you go.
Be back at 182nd with more Lone Star Sports Show. We'll come back and talk about some things. Y'all stay tuned. Lock in. This particular segment is brought to you by Hartem Hotels. Put your money where you sleep. Hartem Hotels, the development and investment company.
Prince got calls on them team, got some papers in. Prince get feeling good. Prince got some work. Prince got a lot of done today.
Back in 152nd with more Lone Star Sports Show. HartemHotels.com. Go take a look at investment and development company right there in Houston, Texas, making it all happen. Not a better way to look in investing and multiplying your money and moving your process along. Put your money where you sleep. Back in 120 seconds. Hey, here we are back here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. Segment 2. Segment 2 brought to you by Fast Mall Sports. Fast Recruit. Fast Recruit is going hard and strong right now. Be right there in the process, being able to offer college coaches an understanding of all the schedules all over the country and all over the world, where guys are playing and what they're getting done and when they play again.
Yeah.
Helping them manage their process, a way to arrange all of the prospects into the ones that they actually want to evaluate. We're going to talk about some more of that later in the show today. Got another 7 segments to go.
Hey, I want to ask the Prince. Prince, what instrument was that playing on that song that you just had right there? What was it? I heard that keyboard with the dun, dun, but then that
24 karat gold.
Yeah, but I'm talking. No, I was just
instrument.
I was saying one instruments. I know we had a piano playing there with the dun, dun,
I wouldn't
but
even
then I
know.
heard that. That had to be a what?
You got to ask Lady Life, the resident.
Probably
It
violin.
was a violin. I knew I heard an orchestra.
But they
instrument.
probably was playing it straight off the keyboard. Violin.
Yeah, they can do it like that. Right? That was a violin.
I heard that. Dun, dun, dun. I knew that. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, violin. Yeah, like that. Right there. Yeah. No, that's violin is an underrated instrument. But yeah, rolling back in here, I mean, sleepers. You know what I have to say about sleepers, Coach?
Yeah.
Is that it's two things. Most people, when looking at a prospect, looking at an athlete, looking at somebody that's doing anything, sleepers are not sports related.
Yeah.
You know, when they look at anything, most people can only recognize and see and identify with the obvious.
Coach, let me tell you this. I have seen some sleepers that went to high school with me, some females that went to high school with me, and some.
All right, Kendra got access to this this now.
Yeah, but and some college girls that were sleepers. You know that you look. Oh, that was you.
Kendra gonna be
A
lying.
lot of sleepers out there, Coach.
Lying up, but the thing is,
I'm just using the definition. I mean, but that's those are sleepers.
Go dig it up and line it, lock it in, look at it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you get is nobody wants to look beyond the obvious. That's one thing that creates sleepers, and the other thing is that most guys don't want to remember when. They only want to remember when they arrive. You know, they don't want to look at a situation for more, and it's just a superficial type climate or culture or kind of world we live in, where we just want to see the bang. You know, nobody wants to see the fuse when it's rolling. And, you know, you light the fuse and it's going. Everybody just wants to be around for the bang.
Well, the bang is conversation. The bang is the conversation. It's the immediate conversation. Don't nobody go into the game talking about the dude that's over there.
Yeah.
You every now and then you'll get a few people that'll get over there and start talking about. You know, they'll get on the side and they'll talk about. They'll get in and they'll talk about They'll talk about what players, you know, on the side, you know, that, man, that's a sleeper. You know, you'll get a few, you know, that's what some of those guys go to games to do. Yeah. To look over there and say, everybody's sleeping on that dude right there. Watch him in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you see it, but I totally agree. You know, I think in the social media highlight world that we live in now, in the situation of where everything is going now, I think that that people are more about what it is that they can do, or what it is that creates a certain amount of hype, and things that come along with it. You know, if there's hype involved, then that's what's right. You know, it's more about how the stage is on versus what's actually on the stage.
That's right.
You know, it's the tweets, it's the people that bring those kind of things along in the process that they create that kind of environment. So I mean,
I think two of the sleepers this year in this draft is going to be Robert Williams and Jalen Brunson.
Love that. I love that. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I mean,
Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson's game, it goes to the NBA game. Well, that comes from all the teaching, probably with the dad.
All the teaching with the dad, but it still goes back to with whatever's flashed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's, you know, even you take a kid like the kid over in Norman, Oklahoma over there that played at OU this year. More people want to acknowledge who he is and what he does based on the flash and the hype versus what he really brings to the table is probably one of them, you know, purest shooters and has a great feel for the game. I mean, some of the things that make him great. Yeah. But if he's not scoring 35, 40, 45, 50 points, they don't see any value in it.
They don't see any value in it.
Right. And that's to me, that's just underrated. But I think that things are distorted. And what I would like to say to people out there that are doing things, you know, you evaluate yourself by the content of what it is you bring into the table, and not just about the hype that goes along, in what it is you're doing. Don't just get so caught up in am I hype this or hype that, and actually look for some content. You know, I even say to the parents, I say to the summer guys, you know what blows me away, man? Guys come in and they're registering for the event, the Lonestar Challenge, NCAA certified event, and they call to see about getting the deal. And the first thing before they can get to their NCAA certification, BBCS stuff, USA Gold, you know, Coach, we beat so and so, and we beat this, and we beat that, and they're starting to trying to validate themselves by some, you know, some real, you know, to me, some questionable ways of looking at things, you know, and where they really the real value is in it is just, you know, it's just shallow, you know. Yeah. And you know, we got to back up on the shallowness of it, you know, because I think you impede the process. You know, I talked about it. You see it right here. You know, with sleeper tendencies, and you know, why are sleepers not so popular? You know, why is it not popular to be a sleeper? What is that? I mean, you know, some people take offense. You say, "Oh, I think he's a sleeper." Mm-hmm. They get offended by it.
Yeah. Well, they got the right to, Coach. I mean that people got the right. I mean, to do what they want to do. They got the right.
Turn me up real super high.
They got a right to do what they want to do.
No, people have the right to do it. They also got the right to deal with the consequences of what they do too.
That's you know.
Well, when I throw it out there, yeah, people have the right to do what they want to do, but the point is, Coach, is that some people are doing things because they think it's the right thing to do, and you still want to put as many good examples and good opportunities, good situations.
Well, I just think we can give them some advice. That don't make us right. You know what I'm saying? That just helps their process in the way they look into things.
Well, okay, let me dive into that a little bit. We got a couple more minutes here. Let me dive into that a little bit. If you're so caught up, Coach, into the hype, okay, and into trying to promote and into trying to sell, that you totally neglect all of the foundational things required. I mean, I was talking to a summer coach today that has a lot of teams, and these guys are worried about where they're going to play, do this, do that. They're not even a certified coach.
All right, freeze. Okay. All right.
You take it.
Let's just say they do all that. What tells you that they're neglecting the work?
Because they're not certified. That's what tells me they're neglecting the work.
No, I'm just saying.
You drive without no driver license, Coach. That's what tells me they're neglecting the work.
No, I'm talking about the work as far as, all right, leave that part out. Mm-hmm. Now, you talking.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead.
Because a few minutes ago, you was talking about the plan. You was talking about they leaving out that kind of work. The plan, the preparation, the improvement. That's what you was talking about a few minutes ago.
The substance.
The substance of it. Now you talking about.
It's one of the reasons the sleepers are sleepers. Now you talking because only people can recognize is what the frosting.
Now you talking about getting certified.
Well, that's just an analogy symbolic of what's going on. You know.
Yeah, but just because a lot of guys love the hype and they love that don't mean that they ain't putting in work.
I didn't say that would mean that they wasn't putting in work.
Yeah.
I just said that it discourages the focus from the value system. Because what happens is that people become thinking that the hype is the main ingredient. Which is more important, the frosting or the cake?
Well, I'm saying
how many cakes you seen?
But this is what I'm saying. Just because they share that and they talk about the hype and they talk about giving me some pub and show me some love and all this, what tells you that means more to them than the substance? Just because they say it.
Cool. You know how I'm saying. I'll tell you how I know what it means. I go by what people put their time into. That's what's important to them.
Okay, but I'm saying, you just see, or you might be in a small conversation with somebody and they telling you to give them some love. You ain't giving me the hype. You ain't giving me no love. Or you might see a tweet or two. It don't take that long to retweet or tweet something. You know that, don't you? It don't take that long to tweet something. So that's just a short period of their time that you. Wait a minute. That's a short period of their time But I'm saying that you're aware of. Now, so how do you know what they're doing with the other part of their time?
Because their stuff is not coming back right, Coach.
Like what?
Like their certification, like their plan, along these lines. I mean, Coach, how can you put this much energy? I saw Nina tweet the same thing out. How can you put this much energy in raising all these different things? And the most simplest thing, talking about not taking much time, that's what they neglect.
Now, we talking about playing basketball, or we talking about getting the team into the tournament?
Well, get the team into the tournament is a part of the process.
Okay. Yeah. All right, we can talk about that now.
No, that's a part of the process. We're going to talk about it later, but where it all comes back and where it all connects to is it all connects to the fact that people struggle with the real content and there's a superficial fluff type nature. If we can get you to believe that this is what it is. See, Snoop Johnson's a hype master. That's why he doesn't like me talking about this.
No, I'm just trying to say, I just want you to speak on some facts versus opinion.
This is an opinionated show.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. You said it. That's what I want you to say. That's your opinion. This is
my opinion. I can substantiate my opinion, too.
I know it, but I'm saying you...
okay, but I'm saying... how many talk shows on opinion?
But I'm saying, when I come back with my opinion...
What's your opinion?
What I just said.
We got 1 minute left. Tell me what your opinion is.
When I come back with my opinion, you look at me like I'm wrong.
No, I didn't look at you like you were wrong. What was your opinion?
I just said them people they can say whatever they want to say.
Well, don't they? I never
that don't make them wrong and right.
I didn't have anything to do with the result.
Their way to where they trying to go don't make it's nothing. It don't make it wrong.
Snoop Johnson likes keep them confused.
No, I'm saying it don't make it wrong.
Keep mud in the water out there.
No, it don't make it wrong.
As long as they keep on walking down the wrong road, he ain't always stay about one step ahead of the process.
Coach, they just trying to get to the same place.
Yeah, you trying to get there. You trying to beat them there, Coach.
We need to be talking about why all them players, why all them Texas A&M players, Coach, all them guys not coming back. That's a whole nother show now. I know one thing, you putting your name in. Coach, don't be surprised if they come back, if A&M had one starter come back next year.
Oh, I can see that. I mean,
remember I told you earlier in the year, something going on down there. Yeah, something going on down there.
I could definitely see that. Well, here we are at the Lonestar Sports Show, wrapping it down on segment number 2.
Williams and Hogg is gone. Both with agents.
I can see that. They gone. I can definitely see that.
They're gone.
This particular segment is brought to you by Fast Small Sports, a product of Fast Recruit. Go take a look at fastsmallsports.com. Be back in 180 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show. Alan Branch, Snoop Johnson, Lady Life, and Honor Your Money, the Prince. Hey, here we are back here. Segment 3 of the Lone Star Sports Show right here on the Lone Star Sports Network. We're getting it in where it's supposed to be. All things sports, all things Texas. Got a lot going on right now. We are excited about having new head coach Chris Ogden at University of Texas Arlington, right there in the Sun Belt Conference of UT Mavs. Coach Ogden, how you doing, man? It's about day 3 or 4 for you, isn't it?
Yeah, day 4, and doing all right, Branch. You know, a little whirlwind, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a whirlwind. Still living in the hotel, huh?
Still living in a hotel, and just trying to keep my head above water day by day.
Well, man, I tell you what, man. I mean, the community is really excited about you being there. We enjoyed the press conference. Things were good and solid there at the press conference. I thought you did a tremendous job of going through things. I don't go to a lot of press conferences. I wanted to go to this one because it was a lot of times people don't realize what the University of Texas at Arlington has been to our community, all the way back to Ed McCarty and one of my best friends getting it started in the business, Tony Stubblefield there at UTA, and Scott Cross doing a tremendous job there for the number of years as assistant and head coach, and now handing the baton off to you, Coach. Tell people a little bit about Chris Ogden, kind of like you did. I don't want to do the press conference all over again. I could have just played the press conference and you could have got it all done, had to bring your own, but get the personal touch. Got old Snoop Johnson here with me, too. He's sitting here a little quiet on you, Coach. He get some questions brewed up for
I'm
you.
listening to you. I was going to tell him how clean he was. I would tell him how clean he was. I didn't know he was going to wear his Game 1 outfit to the press conference.
That was Game 1. The press conference, you got to win.
I wore my Game 1 outfit. That's right. It is Game 1.
Oh, no, you going to top that one?
Hey, you got to win the press conference. That's the first one. You guys where it starts at. But tell people about you, Coach.
Well, starting with UTA, I've always respected the program. I've got so much respect for Scott and what they were able to do, and UTA's always been a good program. Even dating back to Snake LeGrand and Tony Stubbs and people like that. So it's always been a good program in a good area. For me, growing up in a small town playing basketball, I was just kind of doing my thing out in West Texas, and I don't think people understand how much the Dallas community means to me, and I wouldn't be here today without the Dallas DFW grassroots community. I started playing AAU basketball. I played on 2 different teams in the Dallas area in high school, and started traveling the country with 2 different teams, playing in tournaments in Dallas. And then, that gave me the exposure to then go play at University of Texas, which led into my coaching career, which it all comes back full circle, where I ended up back in Lubbock last year home, and now I'm back in Dallas, where I really owe so much of everything to, because I played, I played a big part of my high school AAU career for Dallas teams.
And I want to spend a couple of minutes on that, because a lot of people, we take for granted because we know you so well, because we are in the business. But with the listening community, they say, oh, it was assistant at University of Texas, they're trying to fill. But tell us what it was like. I don't know, at 14 or 15 years old, you started wanting or having a desire for an opportunity to come to the DFW area to have an opportunity to play grassroots basketball. What was that? Tell us a little bit more about Chris Ogden as a young man, a kid, aspiring to be where he is now through the process.
It started. I played on little teams just from out there. They were a collection of teams from a couple guys from my hometown, neighboring towns, and maybe a couple guys from Lubbock. We formed a team, and we started playing up here in tournaments up here, whether it be the Great American Shootout or whatever it was. Well, from there, I got noticed, and I got invited to play with 2 different teams. And so I played with Dallas Slam and Jam. Was the first team I ever played for, and then I played with the Texas Blue Chips one summer and traveled the country. So, and then as you 2 guys know, those were 2 of the original teams in the grassroots community in Texas, especially
no doubt those were in the
DFW area. So I feel like I was a real part of the beginning of the grassroots era in the state and in Texas. I don't think people realize how Texas basketball grew from 1997, 98, 99,
Yes.
right there. That was really the start of it, in my opinion,
no doubt.
grassroots-wise. And since then, it is what it is now. But I really remember when it started, and I really feel a part of that.
Well, you're exactly right. Snoop Johnson and I were down in Houston at the Houston Nation versus Houston. What do y'all call it?
Oh, to my Showcase
Nation.
National? Yeah.
Showcase Nation, right. Showcase National is what it's actually called, and was interviewed by ABC 13, Snoop Johnson, both ourselves. And I was talking about that time that, a lot of people would say, well, yeah, we were involved in basketball in Texas prior to 97, 98, 99. But right around that, I call it that 2000 mark, the overall, how the rest of the world started to see Texas and Texas basketball, and Augie was right there. Excuse me, Coach Ogden was right there on the edge of it.
Man, you can call me Augie.
No,
Everybody else can be calling me Augie.
I mean, it's just hard to get around. I mean, I got to make up for almost 20 years, or about 17, 18 years of Augie. And, Coach Bourne and I talk, we refer to you as Augie, but, with all due respect, man, we want to, respect the fact of what you have achieved. But with where Coach was, he was right on the forefront of.
He was on the front line, Coach.
Front line of that when
he was on the front line. I remember the first time I saw you was you was playing with Slam and Jam. My guys at that time were playing with the Houston Jaguars with Elaine Jones. So
I remember Elaine. Yeah, Talib Brown.
And
Antonio Falou and all those guys.
And Antonio Falou from
that was the
Puerto
group.
Rico.
That was the group with Quentin Ross and those guys. And at that weekend, I mean, we were in town, and I remember Rob Wright calling him and Horace. They said that we want to scrimmage. So I just took the kids I had at Kimball with that team with Lonnie Gustus and Chris Jackson and Quentin Ross, and that was one of the first times people don't realize Big E's daddy coached them over at they scrimmaged over at Mountain.
How about that?
They scrimmaged at Mountain View, and that's when I saw Augie coming. I said, "Whoa, this is a bad boy." Augie can shoot it deep, put it on the floor, and everything. And I was like, "Whoa, where y'all find this one right here?"
Nah.
Horace said we working. Because see, Horace at that time, Horace told me, he said, "Snoop, if you keep your kids here, we'll win it all."
Yeah,
we'll win it all. You remember I told you the story, Branch, when we were down at the Peach Jam, and Quentin Ross wasn't playing that much because Antonio Falou was getting all the minutes, and Antonio Falou got hurt with the last game. They weren't going to even qualify. And Quentin Ross came off the bench and scored like 24 points. And the rest...
That was my class. Me and Quentin Ross were in the same class.
That was the same class. Yeah.
How about that?
Quentin Ross took off after that because I had already called Horace. I called Horace and told him, I said, "Horace, bring 3 uniforms with you to Orlando. My guy's going to play with y'all in Orlando." And Lane changed everything.
No. And for you to be on that and be back here, how much time, in your own quiet personal time, do you, when you look back at it, and can you really remember the times and really identify with that? And we're going to talk about how your big circle and your whole lap of where you've had a chance to go and what all you've gotten done during this window of time. How much do you think back about what you were thinking about then, and did you ever see yourself right here where you see now?
I'll be honest with you. I think about it all the time. Okay. I really do because, for me, it's much bigger than basketball. It's about relationships and people, and even just talking about these names that we're talking about right now, Antonio Falou, Quentin Ross, these guys. I mean, I'd love to reconnect with all those guys, but anyway, talking about it's all about the people, and so even when something, I mean, this is probably getting off tangent, maybe a little deep, but even something in today's culture where race is a big topic, I think back to I'm in West Texas and grew up in a pretty much all white town, and now I'm traveling the country where I'm one of the only white dudes on the team. Like that experience made me who I am today.
Yeah,
and so I think about it all the time.
That's a huge statement. That is a huge statement. I mean, you know, for you to dare, we got to go to break. We'll come back. We're going to talk more about your journey, you know, after that point. But I think this is what you just said sums up the quality of the character and the personality and the human being that you're getting in a Chris Ogden, and what I've been able to experience from not only just vaguely able to remember you as a player prior to college, but I do remember you very, very well at elite camp and summer camp at the University of Texas as a freshman, sophomore, when T.J. Ford was a freshman and you were a sophomore at that time. So that's very clear to me then. So when we come back from the break, Coach, I wanted you to tell us about your journey and a guy like Rick Barnes putting the energy into you that he did, and what made you decide, you know, because a lot of guys were concerned about playing overseas, and you locked into the Longhorn process. So we'll come back. We want to talk about that a little bit.
Coach, before we get ready to go, I know they're not a sponsor of our show, but I got to send a shout out to Patterson Kia. I saw a picture with Coach Ogden and the women's coach.
Oh, I met her at
Patterson's Kia.
Yeah, no, I actually got a chance to meet her at the press conference, the reception after the press conference.
Yeah, but Patterson Kia, those some nice vehicles. Did you see it on Twitter?
Oh, Patterson Kia. Okay.
Patterson Kia.
I'm trying to make it be the women's coach. I know exactly. Okay, yeah.
Coach,
you know what that was.
Coach, you got plenty of leg room. You got plenty of leg room in there.
Hey, I got plenty of leg room. That Kia rolls around nice. I'm feeling good.
We got to visit about that one. We're right here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. All things sports, all things Texas. The Thing Day Show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. Continue to lock in and be a part of what we're doing here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. Alan Branch, Snoop Johnson, Lady Life, and Honor Your Money. We'll be back with head coach Chris Ogden at the University of Texas, Arlington in 120 seconds. Hey, here we are back here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, Lady Life, and Honor Your Money. Today's show is brought to you by FastMallSports.com. That particular segment was brought to you by Hartem Hotels Investment and Development. Go take a look at HartemHotels.com. Put your money where you sleep. Great opportunity there. But right now, we're right back here with our guest of the evening, head coach Chris Ogden at the University of Texas at Arlington Mavericks men's basketball. Coach, when you were there as after you had been a freshman, let's go fast forward in about 2 minutes. Go through your career, Final Four. I know you don't have to rush, but you guys were extremely successful. How many basketball games did you win as a player? Do you know?
Oh man, you know what? I used to know the number. I forget now. But when I left Texas, I was actually the all-time winningest player. I think I've been passed since then. But it was a fun run.
So you had a chance to win roughly 110 games as a player at the University of Texas.
Yeah, roughly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you won 20 games, 25 games a year. Had a 30 that 1 year. Had a chance to play in the Final Four.
Yeah. So roughly right around there. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the math just kind of breaks it out there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good math, Brant.
I tell you, hey, he'll surprise you every now and then.
I couldn't have done that on my own.
Hey, don't let Branch fool you now. Branch will throw something out there. Branch can figure these numbers up and all these stuff early to do today.
You know what? I wish that was true. I could be really, really good if I had time to do that.
Okay.
It crosses my mind, but it just never get around to it.
You know what?
That would be the smart thing to do.
I believe you right now because you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy now. You look around, you sit around, you see there's a lot going on around here.
You've been busy, so I can believe.
Can't wait till April 23rd.
I think that one came off the top of your head right there.
I'm going to come up missing April 23rd.
Oh, I know how you do it.
Right down at the country club. Right where the phone. But no, man, back to the situation. So transition out of a great college career as a player. We know how good of a player you were and how many games you all won. At what point did you say, what do I do now? Because it was real popular. I mean, you very easily could have gone overseas, and maybe I lost you. Did you go overseas for a minute?
No, I didn't. I got right into coaching. I had to finish my undergrad, so I was a student assistant for a year. Really it got down to, I was a good player, but I realized real quick I wasn't that good.
Well, Coach, there's a whole bunch of dudes over there playing for $3,000 and $4,000 a month that wasn't as good as you right now. So you could have gone overseas now. That's a scouting service guy speaking now.
No question. I could have. And it crossed my mind, but it just got down to I knew I wanted to get into coaching, and so it actually started even before I got done playing. A little bit my junior year, but especially my senior year, as we made that run to the Final Four, I kind of felt like a part of the coaching staff. I mean, there were times in games where I would recommend stuff to coach. Coach would come down, ask me, or halftime ask me, and so Coach and I really started that rapport with me as a player during that year. There were a lot of situations in which we talked about game plan wise or game adjustment wise that we talked about player to coach, and then it was just natural the next year that he said, "Hey, you got to finish your degree, Augie. Why don't you stay on? You can legally work out our players in the summer." And so then that's what happened. I started doing that. And then the next thing, the video coordinator left. He moved me into that role. I was a video coordinator for a couple of years, I think 3 years. And then from there, Ken McDonald got the Western Kentucky job.
Very well.
Coach gave me a chance. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a clue. I had notes all over my desk. I was just calling dudes. I had no clue what I was doing. But somehow, some way, the first player I signed was Avery Bradley. So
it's a good start.
That's a real good start.
Yeah. So I was pretty doomed after that. But then that's how it started. And so I was with Coach my whole career. And people say, well, why'd you leave Rick Barnes? I was with him 16 years of my life. It was time to, in a sense, kind of get out from under daddy a little bit, right? I had to go and
we talked about that.
I had to kind of spread my wings and get out there, and so I did, and it proved to be a great move for me and helped me grow, and I still talk to Coach all the time. In fact, this past month we've talked about every day.
Okay. When you get ready to say something, Coach?
No, I was listening to you. Go ahead.
When you got to the point of all those years, you coach was at the University of Texas for 18 or 19 years. Rick Barnes.
17, I think.
17 years. So of those 17 years that he spent at the University of Texas, you spent how many of those 17 with him?
16.
16. So that's an amazing statement right there.
Yeah.
With the amount of success. So you only remember not going to the NCAA tournament one year in your whole career, the whole time you spent in Austin. Is that correct?
Yeah, we missed it 1 year, and that was the year Mike Bongo was ineligible 18 games.
Yep, I remember that.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
No point guard. Yeah, Michael Bongo. How about
y'all
that?
had Avery Bradley and all them. That means you had to. Coach, you had to have some conversations with old Ro Russell, huh?
Funny you say that, man. I literally just got a message a little bit ago from Ro.
Ro's a good dude, good people, man. People say what they want to say about Ro, man.
I met Ro at New Mexico State when Stubbs was at Las Cruces.
I just remember first time I remember Ro was ABCD camp.
The funny thing about it, hey Coach, this is the funniest thing about with Ro. I told Ro said, "Where you getting ready to go?" I said, "Oh man, I'm getting ready to head back to Dallas, and I'm gonna probably shut it down." And Ro told me he was going to New York or somewhere, and then he gonna head back home. Why did both of us the next day show up and both of us was at UT?
Everybody trying to give everybody that's the old okey doke fool. Yeah, Coach, I'm gonna go on back over.
UT, I popped up at UT the next day.
Guys always trying to throw guys off the trail.
Oh man.
So, 16 years at the University of Texas, and I remember passing through Knoxville, your first year at Knoxville. You spent 2 years there, correct?
No, I just spent 1 year there.
Just 1 year. Okay, so 1 year. And that's part of my when I go. I like to drive. People say, "Man, why do you drive to all the way over NBA camp, Charlottesville?" Is believe it or not, it's a quiet time. I enjoy stopping to see Coach Barnes. I enjoy stopping to see Buzz and a couple other people that I stop and see along the way up there. And it makes it all whatever. I got the guys in Memphis when Tubby was there. It just depends on who's ever there. But I passed by a lot of clients during that time, and nothing special. Was no stress. I remember I came by and you and Coach Lanier and I sit there and just chatted and talked about anything, and that's a good time. So spending that time there, and then you were at Texas Tech for 2 years. Is that correct?
Texas Tech. Yeah, you're forgetting the 20-day stop in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I always leave it. UNLV.
Hey, I wasn't gonna let him forget it. I wasn't gonna let him forget it. I was gonna say.
So technically, you were on the payroll at UNLV, or you signed you processed in and out.
Oh, I was recruiting players. We did workouts. I was in there, man. I tell people all the time, I was mentally I was mentally there, man. I was living in Vegas for 20 days. Mentally.
20 hot days, too, the time you're talking about.
You got 1099.
And the way it happened, it was so fast and furious. Beard then took the Texas Tech job, and they came and picked us up on a plane in the middle of the night, and there we were landing in Lubbock. And I tell people, they were like, "Well, what was it like? You were in Vegas and then you were in Lubbock." And I said, "Here, this sums it up, and this is no joke." One Saturday night, we're at the Dre's at Trey Songz concert, and the very next Saturday, we're in Charlie B's watching Robert Earl King play in Lubbock.
That is hilarious. That is about the size of it, man. To see all of that happen, and I extended congratulations via text and phone calls and multiple times here, and we'll say it for the one more time than last time. Really proud of you, and congratulations. Now you have in front of you what I say is the fastest growing and can statistically support a community like that. How do you make Maverick basketball important in Arlington and the DFW area? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think it's one relationship at a time, one player at a time, one step at a time. I think you start with identifying really good players in the area that you think will be great fits and help you get to the NCAA tournament. and then from there you grow it, and you hope that at some point somebody sees the vision that you see. One of these really elite players from the area sees the same vision you see, which is, why not? Why can't we do it? We got a great campus. We got unbelievable facilities. We've got great support, and you don't have to leave home. Why can't we do what other teams have done?
Right. No, and I think that, the ability to identify, well, you just got done with, we did a segment earlier before you came on about sleepers. If the right personality would have come in place and identified a Zaire Smith may not have been at Texas Tech. And the ability to do that. I know that the first time I saw you at a game and you were watching the game, you came in to watch the point guard at South Garland, and Zaire was playing and he caught your eye. But, a lot of guys didn't see him in the same light. So, I mean, the ability to do that, I think, is a big part of getting guys to buy into a dream. That's one of the things, you always hope that a SMU can figure out. Now you have a UTA.
Trust your eyes, Coach.
Right. You got to trust your eyes.
Hashtag.
You got to trust your eyes. That's exactly. I mean, Snoop's right. You got to trust
his
your
eyes.
Coach Barnes taught me. He really did. His big deal was, I don't care what people are ranked. I don't care. I don't care about it. Evaluate the player.
Right.
And I would come back and say, Coach, I'm really excited about this guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he would say, can he play for us right now? If he's here right now, can he play for us?
One of the things that Coach Barnes used to always tell me, he said, Branch, which one, he walk in the gym, he said, Branch, which one do we want to play against and which ones do we not want to play against? He made his list. Well, you remember that?
That's their thing. That's exactly right. As Coach would say, you better figure out the ones we don't want to play against.
He
try to get those.
Always say that. Yeah, that was a big. That's a big thing.
Always, and then the other thing he said, which I still do to this day, which is really good if you really think about it. He said, "All right, take away what they do best, and can they play?" Yeah. So with a guy like Zaire, you say, okay, let's take away his athleticism. Okay, take it away. Then you start watching and you say, okay, well,
big time passer.
Yep.
Yeah, big time passer.
Okay, well, you know what? He can shoot it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, he's got to get better here, but
he got tremendous effort.
He had other things to his game. I think people got so wrapped up in his.
It's so distracted by the athleticism.
Yeah, they got distracted by it. And I remember, Branch, you and I having a conversation about Kerwin Roach, same deal. Yep. Everybody, no one was recruiting that cat. And when we were at Texas, and we were like, me and you were on the phone one day, and we're talking too, and so we're like, okay, Branch, now here's what you're telling me. You're telling me he's a world class athlete that can play the point. He can shoot it pretty good, and he can make the right passes. Like, all right, well, let's think about this.
Yeah, no, that was the deal, Rob Lanier. We all talked about it on multiple occasions. When you're looking at it, and you do that. But Coach, we got to run to about a 90-second break, and we come back. We want you to share your vision and take about 7-8 more minutes of your time and just share your vision. One of the value in this deal right here is that so many people replay it, and our people are going to cut this out and make this the Augie segment. We'll promote that so people can see and know and get a faster feel for you. But we're right here at the Lone Star Sports Show on the Lone Star Sports Network. But Alan Branch, Snoop Johnson, Lady Life, and Under Your Money, the Prince, giving it to you like it is. All things sports, all things Texas. Next segment is brought to you by the Lone Star Challenge, NCAA certified event, April the 20th through 22nd, right there at Cedar Hill High School in conjunction with Under Armour. Back in 100 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show. We are back at the Lone Star Sports Show. All things sports, all things Texas, right here in North Texas, Oak Cliff, Texas. Giving it to you like it is right here on the Lone Star Sports Network on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that you get all of your notifications of when we're going to be on talking about what's going on in the world of sports in Texas.
Coach, I'm going to send another shout out to Patterson's Kia.
Patterson Kia.
Patterson Kia. See, they might mess around and come back and buy a commercial, Coach. Because I know they listen to Coach Ogden. So they're going to come back eventually and listen to this. So, I'm going to send another shout out. See, that sounds good.
Yeah. Patterson Kia, you're getting a free commercial. You move on to that type of list. Yeah. Y'all go take a look at Patterson Kia right there in Arlington, Texas, supporting the process right there in men's basketball, the University of Texas Arlington. Go Mavs. But right now we got head coach Chris Ogden on the show with us right now. Has shared his path and is now talking about Maverick basketball. Coach, have you had a chance to spend time? I know you had your initial meeting. I think I read in the media that you had your initial meeting with all the players. Have you all been to the gym? Have individuals started yet? Where are you right now in a 4 or 5 day whirlwind?
Yeah, today was the first day I was able to get on the floor with the guys. The way everything went down, it was important to me to just start developing relationships with these guys. And I told them from day one, look, I'm a relationship coach. Trust isn't going to happen overnight. I don't expect you to trust me today or tomorrow or even a week or a month from now. But just give me time to develop a relationship with you. Give me time to earn your trust. And so I've been doing that over the past few days with the guys, getting to know them, calling their family, getting to know their family, calling the signees, getting to know them. And then today was the first day I got on the floor with them and really enjoyed it. I think they were glad to just get back on the floor and get working and where there's not any uncertainty. And so that was good. And then, just getting my feet ground. I'm still learning campus. Somebody asked me a question today. A recruit. I said, I have no idea, but I'll get the answer for you. So I'm just learning things, getting things set up, trying to hire staff. I plan on hiring one of the best staffs in all of college basketball, I think, with guys that really care about kids and relationships, know the area, and can really coach and get guys to play hard, and that's what it's about to me.
Okay. Well, right now, schedule-wise, do you pretty much inherit the schedule that was left by the old group, or is there still some flexibility? Have you even had a chance to look at obviously your Sun Belt schedule is given by the commissioner, but the actual non-conference schedule, you still have work to do on that.
Yeah, we do. You inherit some of what they already had. There's no question about that. There's some things we'll look at and try to change. There's some things we'll add. We're still going to add some games. But I think the biggest thing for us is knowing where we want to go and having a vision. And for me, if you really want to talk the talk, then you got to walk it. And so we're going to play people. We're going to get out there and we're going to try to get our brand out there. And you can't expect kids to stay home and better players to stay home if you're not going to go be willing to play and play against people. And I think kids, they want to play against guys. They want to prove themselves against guys that may or may not have recruited them or may or may not have been ranked ahead of them. And so we plan to have our schedule mirror our vision.
Okay. That's a good answer,
Coach. Let me tell you now. Let me ask you a question. You say when you talk about playing against folks, you got to go after players. What are the ideal players? Now I know you have to cater your style of play to what you have, but what type of players is Coach Ogden's vision for UTA? Is the type of players that you're going after that fits your style of play?
Yeah, I want really versatile players that can play all over the floor. With that, I'd also like a couple guys that can really protect the rim, and then a point guard that can really run the show, because we all know how important that is. But after that, I want really versatile players that can just play multiple positions where we open up the court, open up the lane, we get the rebound and go. There's multiple guys who can bring it up. I want to be really hard to guard. I don't want the defense to ever be able to take a possession off. I want them to have to guard every single body on the court because they can make plays, and I want that lane open. I think there's definitely room for a back to the basket player. But I think that they've got to be able to really score down there. Otherwise, I want that lane open and really versatile players.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you, some of the players you just talked about, I don't think Kevin Durant and LeBron James have any more eligibility. But guess what?
There's always some more, man.
I know that's right. Hey, if I hope some of the players that's listening to that right now, can picture themselves being in that, because the bottom line is a lot of times you get players that ask for opportunity at certain places. They ask for opportunity to show what they can do. But then when they have an opportunity at certain places, they don't want to take advantage of it,
Well, I think this, Snoop, I really think it's a player's game. Players make plays. And Coach Barnes used to always say, especially come February and March, players make plays.
That's right.
And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on giving them, some guidance and some principles and some concepts and teaching them the game. But they got to make plays. I don't want to be a guy that sits there and calls a lot of sets and puts them in a box and says, you're a 3 and you're a 2 and you're a 4 and you can only do this. And no, I want players who are ready to go make plays. And within our system, which is a wide open system, I want guys to make plays and attack.
Coach, what's been your experience? I know you've been out there with Coach Beard in Lubbock at Texas Tech, who is a full-blown junior college, a strong believer in junior college recruitment. What is your look at Region 14, Region 5, and maybe some stuff in the Jayhawk League and wherever it may happen? What's your thoughts about that? You think it's a balanced look? It's just all about whatever the best fit is based on what you're looking for? Or how do you envision your relationships in the NJCA world?
Yeah, it's all about the individual player to me. So if they fit, if they're a versatile player that's really good, if they're a really good player, I don't care where they are. They could be in Region 85. I don't care.
Oh, you go by region.
So I'm gonna have people on my staff that have relationships across a variety, multitude of platforms, because that's what it's about. It's about relationships and contacts and connections, and so I want guys that have relationships there, which I do as well. I want guys' relationships within the whole state, within the city, and then outside the state. I want somebody on my staff that has international relationships. I don't care where the player is, but I want the best players, and the bottom line is, man, I'm not trying to show everybody I'm the best. There's no guys in the world. I'm trying to show I can get the best players and get them to play together and go attack people.
Hey, that's a great statement.
That sounds good to me.
That's a formula for success, Coach. And I mean, I've been watching it for a long time. I'm gonna get back outside the lines again and get back to the overall community. Have you had a chance to identify the climate or the progressive, growing climate there in Arlington, Texas, and with Rangers, and had a chance to look over at Cowboy Stadium, Jerry World, they like to call it, and all the things that are going on. How do you see, with the restaurants and everything being there, how do you see UTA men's basketball interacting with all the restaurants? Are you going to be a guy that's seen out or never seen, or how do you envision yourself right there in the community in there? And I guess at some point your family is going to be joining you. How do you see all of that?
Brent, Augie's going to be seen, man. I don't do well in an office all day. You can't sense in a wild Mustang, man.
So you identify some good eating spots over there and some places to hang out, and and so people will get a chance to speak to you, and they'll be able to get a chance to touch and feel head coach Chris Ogden at the University of Texas.
Coach, I got another. Now we talk about LeBron. Now I got another year eligibility. Hockey got me pumped up. I got an extra year.
Yeah, you got an extra year. we got the paperwork.
Jake went in there and told him. Jake said, "I can see you battling for that bag up spot." I said, "Coach, I'm gonna go start doing something else."
You don't know that story. We're gonna tell you that story. Tim Jankovic over there was coaching And they were in Denton, Texas. We'll tell you that story one day.
Yeah, Jake said, I got my point guard.
Yeah, he would make try to turn Snoop
I
into
got
a backup.
To answer your question, Branch, you know, about I'm learning about it, but I'll tell you what, I'm big. You know, I plan on living in. I'm the coach at Arlington, so I plan on living in Arlington, and I, you know, be a part of the community. I've walked across campus, eaten at a couple of restaurants already. Walked downtown Arlington, eat a couple of restaurants there. Went over to a place by Cowboy Stadium the other day. I plan on learning about Arlington. I'm excited that the Cowboys and the Rangers play here. I don't run from it. I say, look, it's obviously a city that people associate with sports, so we're just going to be a part of that and
go dig in. Yeah, get in the Arlington Sports Commission. Right, there you go. I totally agree with that, and I saw it. You know, I was actually at a what was it, sports tourism? What was it? Oh, no, sportsology. Ani accompanied me there at a conference with a lot of people, and there were a lot of people representing Arlington and Fort Worth, and they were talking about how much of a viable environment, sports entertainment environment Arlington was. And so I think you got real fertile ground to get there, Coach, as we get ready to wind down. We look forward to seeing you out in April and when we're going in the development of your staff and getting the roster where it needs to be and getting your schedule there. But we just want to tell you, man, we love you and support you here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and are here to do all that we can do. All things sports, all things Texas. We've had, Grant McCassell on. Mm-hmm. Tim Jankovic hadn't made it yet. We've had Kellen Sampson. We're about our institutions here in Texas providing the opportunity. So we excited about you taking the wheel, and we'll say go Mavs. Thanks for giving us 25, 30 minutes of your time. I know it's hard, with all the things you have going on. Look forward to seeing you soon. And thanks for coming on the Lonestar Sports Show. Maybe next time we come on, we want to be celebrating some wins, Coach.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Let's do it. Appreciate it, guys.
Okay.
Congratulations again, Coach.
Talk to you. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Lonestar Sports Show here. All things sports, all things Texas. Get it in on the Lonestar Sports Network. Snoop Johnson, Alan Branch, Lady Life, and Onion Money the Prince. Back in 150 seconds with more Lonestar Sports Show. This particular segment was brought to you by the Lonestar Challenge, NCAA certified event, TexasGrassrootsBasketball.org. Go take a closer look and find out more about what's going on April the 20th through the 22nd. You're going to hear more about that if you stay tuned, too. We start talking about the live period and what actually goes on during those periods across the board. Back in 120 seconds with more show. Hey, here we are back here at the Lonestar Sports Show. DJ went on strike on. There, he got no music on. He lined me up, get me off my coffee break, and ain't got his music right.
I'm sitting there saying,
Get him a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right. Lonestar Sports Show, all things
that
sports.
was uncut for real. Y'all, you heard him say, let's go.
Yeah.
That was uncut right there. Y'all getting it right here at the Lonestar Sports Show.
Pure.
Yeah.
Now, even a little music to soften up the process. Today's show is brought to you by FastSmallSports.com. Ross Comerford, CEO and founder of FastSmallSports.com. Be back.
All right. Okay. All right. Get you a little water.
Yeah. A whole lot of things. Excuse me, folks.
That hot coffee.
But we've been here talking about, you had Chris Ogden with University of Texas at Arlington, talking about his experience and everything that he went through. And one of the topics that we have here is, is why is it so hard to become a Division I coach? There are a lot of reasons for that, and I make a statement, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I say it, but I tell people that with a comparable amount of talent for either task, with the appropriate amount of talent for either task, it's more difficult to become a Division I coach than it is to play in the NBA. Now, obviously, to do either one of them, you got to be good enough.
Right.
But statistically, you got a better chance of 600-plus jobs in the NBA that are cycling out. What would you say? Jobs are cycling out, every
year?
Every year?
It got to be every year, coach.
Exactly. What do you agree that jobs are cycling out a lot faster out of the NBA than they are out of NCAA Division I coaching carousel?
Both of them had the same situation where, just like they cycling out, you got that many more trying to come in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bigger log jam
on the coaching.
On the coaching, exactly.
Most definitely.
Because people can envision and see themselves, and there are more people that potentially have the ability to become a Division I coach.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
And tell me, what do you think about this? I'm going to get your opinion. I would love to ask Chris Ogden the same thing. What do you think about guys?
Should have asked him, coach.
Yeah. I didn't want to drag him down that road or give him time. But what do you think about guys that only hire guys they know? Is that a good principle, or is that an excuse?
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that if the guys they know have value. That's the thing, because you know me, I'm big on it. The success of the program starts within that coach's office.
I agree with that.
If you have a quality coaching office, meaning a quality staff, where everybody understand the rules, as far as, everybody ain't gonna be happy, but it gotta be in here though. We gotta work in here. Coach, that leaks out to the community, it leaks out to the locker room, to the players, what comes out that office leaks through your program.
So why do you think it is that coaches hire people that they know? You were a head coach for 12 years, is that right?
14 is the head coach.
14 is the head coach.
Yeah.
How many guys did you ever hire that the first time that you met them was when they came in to sit down and interview with you?
Nick Smith was one.
Nick Smith was one.
So
you had never met Nick Smith before the day he sat down?
I had never met Nick Smith. Nick was at Bryan Adams, and Nick was doing like his. That was during the time where if your certifications, Nick, they pulled him out of his teaching job because I guess his test or something, he needed to pass his test. Yeah. So they give you like that 2 or 3 year grace period. Right. So Nick lost his science class job. So Nick came, he went downtown, and he was at the athletic office, and my dad told him, I just lost a coach. He said, go over to Kimball and just talk to Snoop. Go talk to him. But
they came back pretty good.
He was one. Nick, when Nick came in, Nick had he came in with a lot of energy. He wanted to come in and work hard, and Nick did. He did. He came in and worked real hard.
Why would a coach not want to hire somebody, or why would a coach, in your opinion, that's all it is that why would a coach only want to hire someone that he knows? Because I know probably 95% of all the guys I know only want to hire guys they know.
Where you want to be comfortable. I mean, that's the one thing about it. The last thing
explain comfortable.
Well, the last thing you want to do is have doubt. You don't want any doubt, and I mean, a lot of time for years I got criticized for guys on my staff that people were like, how is he coach on the staff? He didn't even play basketball. He used to play football. He did this. He's not a basketball guy. But it started with, my thing is, everything starts with the leader. And if I can go in and educate my guys on what I'm trying to do, see, that was my thing. First of all, is I don't need all these philosophies. That's one thing. But I knew the guys around me, they all had the same thing in common. They had those kids first. And that's the big. I never really was big on guys that had their own agendas, want to show me how good they were. I mean, we had some of those staffs, and we had to. I mean, one thing, I ain't never been shy about making some changes. You know what I'm saying? I just like winning.
I'll tell you one of the things that I think that drives it, and the guys have shared with me over the years and all my interaction with Division I coaches, is trust.
That's the big word. That's it.
Now
that don't always come from guys that you have to know. Just like Coach Ogden just talked about with those players, that's not gonna happen overnight.
You have to build it. And I think that's one of the reasons they don't. Yeah. They want to hire guys they know, because they want instantaneously to walk into a level of trust.
Well, let me just tell you, if I was let's just say I was a college head coach, my whole staff wouldn't have to be guys I know. But if I'm hiring somebody that I don't know, they better come with a great resume. You know what I'm saying? And
that ties back to some things you trust.
Well, no, it don't have to do nothing. I mean, the trust, we're gonna build that. We'll build that. But I'm saying you better come with something, because it still starts off with me with production. If I'm in college, I need someone that comes with a great reputation of being able to recruit players. And then, as time goes on, he either gonna build a lack of trust, or I'm gonna really trust. I mean, that you can build that when there's some production there. You don't need both. You don't need to be one that can you trust them and is not a productive person.
It's interesting point. Any of your listeners out there that want to chime in, you can call in at 713-392-1930 and chime in.
Say that again, Coach. What's the number again?
713-392-1930. If you have any thoughts about that. But the deal is that I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But with the number of guys that I've dealt with over the years, and I've often, trust is just a huge thing. You got some guys out there that are flat out, I don't care, Coach, they're not hiring. I'm talking about some very successful Hall of Fame type guys.
Okay.
They are not hiring someone they don't know. They don't even want to talk about it.
Well, they have the. I mean,
they have that right.
But think about what you just said. Some Hall of Fame guys. So they're comfortable with what they're comfortable with.
Yep.
And it works for them. Problem I have with some people, with some of the guys, like I said, the problem I have, not the problem they have. But the problem I have is when you position yourself with the fact that you got guys. Okay, you got a bunch of guys in the office that you're comfortable with. We've been knowing each other. We've worked together. But the word is success.
Yeah, I think the
word is the word.
But I mean, do you think that?
See, the one thing you don't get a chance to do too many times, but you hear it all the time, is when it's gone, then you say what you should have done.
Oh yeah, hindsight's 20/20. So hindsight's 20/20. But let's stop and say, is there a guy in Spokane, Washington, that you never met before, that you're likely to go work for, and he's likely to hire you?
Where is he hiring me to?
Washington State.
I don't have no value in Washington State right now.
Okay.
I'm not a national recruiter right now. I mean, as far as resume, and I don't have any West Coast ties on my resume right now. As far as college recruiting and everything like that. So my thing is, I mean, unless he's heard from somebody that I know and he know mutually. You know, and they just,
that speeds up the trust factor a lot of times,
right? And
because if you send a guy over here and say, "Branch, he did our carpet,"
right, you're gonna trust it.
I'm gonna trust it because of you.
That's right. That's right.
And that's where the tie comes down.
And they go in there and tell him he gonna work for you. He gonna do a good job.
Right.
You know, he gonna find his way around through the bushes. I mean,
right. And then that situation. So I think it's just a lot deal. And the reason I think that the trust factor and has to come down to
trust is big, Coach.
The whole deal has come down to it is that it's so difficult to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
So nobody wants this. 1,404 Division I coaching spots, including head coaches. We could easily extract the 351 out of there and get the remainder of roughly a little more than 1,000 guys that are assistant coaches and ops guys that come a part of that process.
It's also timing too. I mean, timing is everything. You know, sometimes I know. Excuse me for cutting you off.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, when I was an assistant at Kimball, I probably had more opportunities. One, I was single. I was young, so I didn't have coaches didn't have to worry about could he move around. I probably had more college coaching, assistant coaching offers in those 4 years as an assistant than I did any of my time as a head coach, because when I was a head coach, all people saw me as he ain't going nowhere.
Right, exactly. You know, and it starts. The more you start to sink your roots in, the more difficult it is.
Right.
We come back in the next segment. We're going to talk more about the breaking in and when young people should look at it, and how to be realistic about the opportunity, and what are you willing to sacrifice. Right here at the Lone Star Sports Show, we're right here winding down into the red zone, the paint, so we often like to call it, the best time of year in the spring. Lone Star Sports Show. Get it in right here. All things sports, all things Texas. Alan Branch, Snoop Johnson, Lady Life, and the Prince under your money at the controls, getting smoother and smoother. Look at the music, got his music back going where it's supposed to be. We're gonna let him make it then. We come back. Today's show is brought to you by FastMallSports.com. Particular segment is brought to you by Harlem Hotels. Put your money where you sleep. Harlem Hotels Investment and Development. Go take a look at HarlemHotel.com and see how this process could work for you. Back in 180 seconds with more Lone Star Sports Show. Hey, we're back here at the Lone Star Sports Show.
I'm about to get you some lyrics, man, for them instrumentals come in.
All things.
I'm gonna come in with some lyrics on one time. I'm gonna freestyle one of them things. One of them joints. One time.
Ice MCs just won't let go, boy.
Give you right. Give it Thursday.
I'll get you right.
Thursday. I'm coming. I might go with this last segment.
Ice MCs just won't let go, boy. Ice MCs keep on trying to make that name.
I was the hype man.
Just let me know. I'll get you ready.
I tell you, my boy Blue wrote my lyrics for me.
Well, Lonnie just say he gonna get you something together.
Yeah.
but she's gonna text it to you. I just read off your phone. You get ready. You can rehearse while I carry through the radio.
At Harlem's Hotels. It's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Yeah. HardhamHotels.com is bringing this segment to you, segment 7 right there. Go look at HardhamHotel.com and investment and development. Put your money where you sleep. A very interesting look of being able to really see. We also want to give them credit or acknowledge the fact that they are the leading Hampton Suites or Hampton Inn and Suites hotel on a black-owned franchise, African-American-owned franchise in the United States of America. HardhamHotels.com. Go take a look and see the opportunity they're providing for minimal investment to be a part of their expansion process all over the country. They are on their way.
Yeah. Shout out to some of the players. No, we can't probably call their names out, but shout out to the players chiming in, listening to the show right now.
Yep.
No, some of the high school players, listening in. And, we
taking a look at
that.
it. Yeah, so, like I said, it's a fun time in the spring. Got my main man, Snoop Johnson, here. Boy, I tell you, it's been good right here. It's show 101, episode 21, right here in 2018, getting on down the line where we are, feeling a level of direction and production.
I'm going to tell you, boy, I didn't know it. I'm going to tell you, Cole, I really, about a month after we started this thing, I didn't know if I'd be still in this chair right here.
Coach, I didn't know if I'd still be in this chair either.
We had some conversations.
Yeah, we had some thoughts.
Ride over to South Dallas. We had some conversations right over to South Dallas.
I miss going over to Williams Chicken. Boy, you come out of there, boy, right there in front of Madison. Boy, only thing you can make it better, go give me a strawberry soda.
Strawberry soda. Boy, I used to go in that little
drumstick in the thigh.
I used to go in that little room over there in Dallas. We could eat mine real quick. right across the thing.
Boy, that's an interesting story. Lady Life was sitting there. And we were getting it figured out. Lady Life was kind of looking and saying, "Well, these boys got a long way to go."
I used to get over there 3 or 4 minutes before the show, and the doors be locked, and there be wondering, "Can y'all hear me back there? Do Life got her headphones on?"
You got to shoot a text to come get you. Let you in the studio back in those days. But no, it's been a great role.
Now we got Hardham Hotel.
Yeah, now we got Hardham Hotel and, just the whole deal. Ross Comerford, and we got the law firm that's waiting on us right now. We got Boudreaux's Seafood. Not Boudreaux's, but Thibodeau's Seafood waiting on us, man. We just got so much work. That's one of the reasons I'll be so glad when April 23rd comes.
We got the Pop Cream Shop.
Yep.
I just got to get with you. We got a meeting after we finish.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do around here.
Lonestar Sports Show is
thank God for the work that we have.
Lonestar Sports Show is in a good place and moving forward.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of things there. Like we say, this segment is brought to you by Hardham Hotels. But we're talking about the carousel, the difficulty in becoming. Even a guy like a Chris Ogden showed that he was willing. He made a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I see Chris Walker say that all the time. I think we have to spread out. I think kids have to make a commitment saying that, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I think the instant gratification nature allows an end for some opportunity that some guys that have put a lot of time into the basketball business are not willing. These guys are coming in from the analytical standpoint, from the film and that whole video coordinator angle on things, the business side of things.
Yeah, the more you know. The one piece of advice I could give, especially to a high school coach, is that because I know a lot of high school coaches, this is what we got a tendency to do, especially when we're an assistant coach. Our goal is to become a head high school coach, and then we got a goal. We want to be a college coach, but we feel like we can get the high school out of our system and pick and choose when we want to go and make that jump. You see what I'm saying? And the advice I give to them, that if you have the long-term goals of being a college coach, when you get an opportunity, go do it right then. Because the opportunities ain't coming. You
have to, and you have to be willing to sometimes make a little bit of a sacrifice, whether it's zip code or area code,
right?
Or sometimes it's even the amount of money. I think the younger you make the sacrifice, the easier the sacrifice is.
The easier the sacrifice is.
You start getting the siblings. I mean the offspring sitting there with the responsibility, a wife with a career. I tell these young guys all the time, man.
You can't just make that decision.
You go
on
marry
your
you a school teacher or a nurse and help with your college coaching career.
Oh, yeah. Because they're going to be able to get a job.
They get a job anywhere. Yeah.
They're going to be able to get a job.
Yeah, you go get a job. A man just left, or Coach O'Toole just left.
Insurance, let them sell some insurance, all that kind of stuff.
You know, that they just left from the West Coast at University of Cal Berkeley and going over to join Jeff Capel at Pittsburgh.
Who was that?
Coach O'Toole.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're talking about from Cal.
Yeah, he's going back over.
I didn't know him until I met him down.
Yeah, but made a real strategic move. You know, once you've been employed for 2 years at the University of Pittsburgh, all of your kids go to school for free. So he's going over there. He got the youngest kid is in the 9th grade. We'll get him a couple of years, and it'll be about time for him to start going to college. He got a lot of college tuition to pay. He got about 3 or 4 kids. So Coach is making a strategic move.
Strategic move, Coach.
You know, it's a big deal going back close to his family, his wife's family. So I mean, it's a crazy business, but it's a lot of sacrifice involved. It can be such a. Where else can you be in a situation where you're making $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a year, and then the next thing you know you're making $100,000, and then you look. I mean, I remember I met KT, Coach, Kenneth Turner. I met Kenneth Turner. He was an assistant at Redlands Junior College.
You finna start talking about his money?
No, I ain't gonna talk about.
Don't talk about his money.
I ain't gonna talk about his money, Coach. I ain't talk about his money. Public information. No, he had a private school.
We don't want to talk about the Lonestar Sports Show like that.
No, we don't talk about his money, Coach. You bring his money up. Now you talk about you putting direction on.
I ain't said nothing about his money.
Yeah, he's associate head coach. I'm talking about the statue of work, the leagues that he's climbed up, and the success that he's had as a young professional. Right. You know, and the thing is that if you can give those 2, 3, 4 years of diligence prior to being 30 years old or 32 years old or at whatever point, and then you look at a guy like my man at Longwood that goes over Vincent and Elkin, unconventional route toward it. You know, Griff Aldridge, he's a head coach. So I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. We cannot underestimate value, value that you bring, value, relationships, diligence. Those are the things. And the one thing that I tell Ani all the time, we sit around the office, we've got to look at perception. Perception is a monster. You know, we all want to have good self-esteem, but one of the things that does not work in college basketball is I don't care what they think.
Yeah, no.
Because what they think.
No, you can't do that.
That's opportunity or no opportunity. You know, and being conscious of how people see you and not holding it against people how they see you. Right. You know, you want to nurture people's perception of you. You know, first with media.